I got to tell you, Joe, I'm genuinely concerned about your team's 2021 season. Even though Big Ben's decided to come back, that was I'm worried. I'm nervous for you that the Browns and the Ravens even the Ravens. It took them a few shots at getting a veteran receiver until Sammy Watkins said yes for 1 year, $5 million. But I'm concerned for your team. I'm not going to lie. What do you think?
Well, I think it is a very unusual year. So I think a couple of factors went into that. Number one, you've got a lot of the deferred pay for Ben Roethlisberger all of a sudden catching up. You know, it's like driving your station wagon around for 17 years, just throwing cups and wrappers into the back and then slamming on the brakes all of a sudden. So there was all of that money to be handled. And then on top of that, you have this COVID cap. So, we're looking at $30 million less in a year that we also... The third factor is we had 24 free agents to sign, including, half of the defensive starters. So, it's an unusual year, and it really, honestly, unfortunately, comes down to money and what we can do with money. On a year where we had more money, we're keeping Bud Dupree. We might even get T.J. Watt, or J.J. Watt. It's such an odd year for us, and we're just doing the best that we can to keep our team together, given the financial circumstances.
Got to get the running game. I mean, to. I mean, last year it was, after 11-0, the whole free football world knew you weren't going to run it, and that when you're going to throw it, it's going to be somewhere in 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and it just fell apart. You know what I'm saying? Despite everybody's best intentions. And then when Bud Dupree goes down, I mean, my goodness.
Well, Bud, and don't forget Devin Bush also.
That's
so
right.
Our linebacking core, those are two all-pro caliber players that go down in the middle of your defense that I think was a championship caliber defense up to that point. Mm-hmm. And like you're talking about the running game, you need a running game to keep your defense off the field. If you're going in there passing, and you're 3 and out, with a pass-heavy offense, you haven't taken any time off the clock. Your defense hasn't rested. Now they have to come right back out. That's going to catch up to you at the end of the games. And honestly, that was a formula that worked for the Steelers for so many years, which is why I think there's such heavy conversation right now about that 24th pick going towards a running back. And then, of course, who's going to be available? Obviously, if somebody's not available to our liking at that spot, then we're going to go offensive tackle. But, given the nature of the draft over the past decade, it's not uncommon for a really great running back to be available, at the end of the first round.
All right, let's touch the third rail, even though it really isn't that. I might be over dramatic, but who do you want to be the next quarterback? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to draft one? You want them to wait it out, make sure, knock on the Jets' door for Sam Darnold maybe during the draft? What do you as a Steeler fan, and what do you think Steelers fans as a whole want post Big Ben, since this looks like the swan song here?
Well, you never want to say I want to lose so many games that I'm in position to get a hot quarterback. And that actually was the deal the year that we got Ben. We picked high in the draft. We usually don't pick high in the draft. We're usually competitive. So, if we're going to draft one, that means we're going to have a bad season, and that means that we're going to be high enough to get one. So, without that being said, I don't know. Sometimes you get lucky in later rounds. So I think the Steelers are a team that's going to draft their quarterback. Anybody that they bring in is just going to be a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it just seems to me Darnold would fit. I don't know.
Really? As a Jets fan, you want us to get Sam Darnold?
I do, because I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. The one thing that he's been missing, Joe, more than anything else, is consistency. Name me a more consistent organization than the team you root for.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna lose his coach, and he's not. I mean, I know Colbert does one-year deals, but in the front office, they are who they are. You are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing he has not had was consistency at all. And I don't know. And he's tough. He's tough as nails. And clearly, though, the New York and the Jets is not the spot for him. I mean,
what you're saying is you believe that he is an AP caliber student. We just need to get him to a different high school with better facilities.
I do think so. Yes, Joe. Okay. And I think I'll drive him to the high school for you. If you're willing to cough up a first or a second for him, but that might be too high.
That might be too high. Would you take a third?
No, because I saw what you got for what you gave up for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and he's been such a
home
run.
Sam Darnold, like we're talking Minkah versus. Minkah's like a perennial All-Pro.
I'm trying to talk you into it. I don't know. What if I give you the cloak of invisibility and you don't have any sort of issues with it?
Let me go talk to Kevin Colbert. I'll get back.
Okay, very good. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.